And just like that, OKC split the series 1-1 with the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. Okay, so let's talk about it. SGA was amazing. He had 39 and 4. He shot 50% from the field. He went 6 for 6 on free throws. A lot less than people have been complaining about, only 6 free throws. But he was big for the Thunder, obviously. Alex Caruso, he was amazing too. He had 17 points. He went 3 for 4 from 3. He had 4 free throws, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He was amazing, especially coming off the bench. And also great for the Thunder was Jared McCain and Chet Holmgren. I mean, me personally, I thought Jared McCain is a great player. I mean, he's a good player, not great player, but he is, impactful, especially on offense. He's moving around a lot. He's able to get into places that most people aren't really looking. He's really great off the ball. Chet Holmgren, he played all right tonight. He had 13 points, 50% from the field. He didn't make too much noise, but that's okay. Hartenstein, he was also pretty good. Just 10 points and 13 rebounds, which is, not bad at all. And also, J-Dub was hurt early in this game, which is never good. Everyone always hates injuries. Speaking of injuries, Dylan Harper was also out pretty early in this game. He couldn't finish the second half. And speaking of the Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, 21 points, 50% from the field. He went 3 for 7 from 3. 17 rebounds, another monster rebounding game. He had 6 assists, a steal, and he had 4 blocks. And he only had 5 offensive rebounds, but, can't win them all. So, slightly disappointing game from him, even though, that's not bad. But, of course, compared to the last game, we also had Devin Vassell, 22 points, 50% from 3 and the field. 4 rebounds, the usual. Stephon Castle, he was pretty good this game. He had 25 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1 steal. He had 9 turnovers, which was crucial in OKC winning this game. Like, completely, balls to the walls, insane how much he turned it over, but that's besides the point. Okay, so let's get into it. While I was watching this game, I was very hyped, especially watching the Spurs. They were playing great defense to start out. Castle got a crazy dunk on SGA. It was pretty electric for sure. Wemby was very physical. They were getting a lot of second chance points, and then they closed out the first quarter with Wemby picking up a charge. I was watching the second quarter, and Wemby actually did this a lot, where he would go up on one side for a layup, miss it, and then come through on the other side and put it back so gently. It was so alien-like. I know that's his thing, but it looked like an animation out of 2K, like something genuinely unstoppable. But I was watching this. The Spurs had more than 11 turnovers in the first half. It definitely was a turnover game for the Spurs. OKC had a bunch of easy buckets, and it felt like OKC was up by 9 or 10 at least 5 times in this game. you know, which isn't great. And this whole game, it felt like Isaiah Hartenstein was genuinely abusing Wemby. Like, I have in my notes, Hart was abusing Wemby. He would just lock onto him and basically like wouldn't let him move anywhere. Like, it looked like Wemby was almost helpless. He's not stronger than him, and he was like interlocked with him the whole time, essentially. And in that second quarter, Castle gets a genuinely nasty dunk on Isaiah Hartenstein. It was genuinely something to behold. ESPN posted about it and everything. That's how you know it's crazy, when ESPN posts about it. But yeah, a lot of this was just watching, being mesmerized on both sides of the floor, both watching SGA be so effortless in how he moves and how he scores and how great he is at offense, and also watching how good Wemby is. And obviously he didn't show his full capabilities this game, but he had a bunch of plays, like in, I believe it was either the third quarter, Wemby, it looked like for a second Wemby flipped the switch and he got like 7 points in a row, and I was like, oh my god. And then immediately he follows it up with a nasty not a nasty block behind Alex Caruso, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is where the tables turn. But I don't know, it just kind of felt like that died immediately after I wrote that down. But they close out the third quarter with Wemby. He dived hard into like two of the Thunder players, and it looked like they were putting in a lot of effort. And then I don't know, it's just the energy was just so up and down. And speaking of the energy, whenever you watched Wemby and he would go back to the bench, you could genuinely see hatred in his eyes. He looked like he wanted to get back on the court. He looked like, he wanted to do everything he could to put this game away, essentially, right? And like, I'm not gonna say it was his fault that they lost, but it felt like he wasn't doing the most as much as he could. It felt like there were many times where he could have, just put his shoulder down and run into Hartenstein. He had 4 fouls. Like, I think since like the second quarter, he had like 4 fouls. Make him, pay with that. But also on defense, I know I just talked about how great he is, but there were many times where it looked like, he was just getting kind of outplayed by, the Thunder, which, obviously he could work on. This is a series, it's not a game. So, we'll see how they adjust and what they do. But yeah. And then in the fourth quarter, Wemby gets another one of those crazy putbacks where he's on both sides of the hoop at the same time. I genuinely don't know how it's possible. I gotta watch a breakdown on it. But Castle is pretty good. Scoring a lot. Jared McCain won a tip. I believe it was against Stephon Castle, but that was interesting. It's just one of those plays that brings his impact onto the team. I don't know exactly why the Sixers gave up on him, but he's great for this Thunder team. And there was another moment in the fourth quarter where Wemby broke up this lob perfectly and sends it down the court for Castle to hit a 3. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a run. And unfortunately it wasn't. Hartenstein got these 2 offensive rebounds in a row. He almost got another one, but I believe Victor pulled it out of his hands. SGA had a offensive foul. It was less than 2 minutes to go. I was, pretty excited. In the last minute, it was a 5-point difference, and then within 30 seconds, it goes to 122, 113. It just felt like, the leads changed so quick. I don't know, I was just kind of hoping for a closer game. It just felt like they couldn't hold out at the end, but of course, they did just play a double overtime game. But also SGA was the one who played 51 minutes, not Wemby. So, yeah. And, talking about the turnovers that Stephon Castle had, you can't really put all of that blame on him. He's not, I don't think he's a player at this point in his career where he's meant to have the ball every play, making the decisions all the time. I feel like, he should have that split up between, guys like De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, even Wemby, get him some touches. I just feel like, the Thunder really capitalized that he was the only guy pretty much handling the ball for the most case, and that's how they got half their turnovers maybe, and a lot of their points essentially. But yeah, my recommendation to the Spurs, I know probably nobody gives a fuck about what I have to recommend to the Spurs, but I would say Wemby should play more. When I was watching this game, it kind of felt like he wasn't really on the court as much as I would want him to be. Of course, he has to rest and everything, but this is probably, the best team that they're going to face, maybe ever. So it's like you just have to be there. They can't win without him, so he has to be there. I want the ball handling to be split. I don't just want Castle. Hopefully Dylan Harper gets back. I don't know exactly what his injury was. I believe I mean, we'll see if it was something serious. Of course, we're waiting for De'Aaron Fox to get back. But also on the contrary, they won without him. So, you add him back, you add Dylan Harper back. I think this is definitely going to be a fun series. So, yeah, but also on the flip side, you gotta take into account that, we kind of left out J-Dub, Yeah, you lost Dylan Harper, but they lost J-Dub, so it's like, obviously give and take. But yeah, hope this is going to be a fun series. I can't wait to watch more.